Yeah, come and take a look at the snow. Bright white as far as your eyesight goes. Come and take a look at the fields of snow. I'll just get my coat, then we're good to go. Come and take a look at the lake. Let's have a quick skate before it gets late. Come and take a look at the frozen lake. Put your clothes on, mate, don't make that mistake.
Greetings, holiday shoppers. There are now 345 days until Christmas, and you know what that means. It's time for another year of Christmas Creeps, your one-stop shop for holiday movies and TV shows all year round. Hi, folks. My name is Joseph Wade. I'll be your host for this evening. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. With me tonight, as always, are my co-hosts, Johnny Five, the human robot.
I was tricked into being here, but fuck it, I'm here.
This is the second episode in a row that you specifically asked to do.
No, I asked you to do this episode last time. I was gonna bang them all. I was like, let's just bang everything out at once, one episode, cover every topic, cover every movie, done for the year.
Well, we did end for the year after last episode, so you kind of got what you wanted?
What I'm talking about is, if we just mention, 20, 25 movies, and just say if they're good or bad or not, we're covered for the year.
And that's not a bad idea. Then we just break it all up into tiny little mini podcasts, put them on YouTube Shorts or whatever. Easy peasy, we're done. Get that new social media engagement going, all that crap. Anyway, maybe next year. Also joining us is my other co-host, Mr. Bradford. Brad, what's shaking, buddy?
Capital C content. That's what's shaking, my friends.
Oh, hi, Brad. I didn't see you there.
Hi.
I can't see either of you because we're on the internet.
The beauty of
jokes. How's the new year treating everybody?
It's.
I want either it or myself to go away.
Same shit, different number.
Yeah, I had every intention of starting this podcast with "What's Up, Hell World," but that's just not the vibe I personally want to bring into 2025.
So, plenty of other people are going to bring that vibe for you, my friends.
Exactly. So why do it to myself?
There you go. In fact, we're going to treat ourselves a little bit tonight. I'm excited.
Oh, yes, because this is our second annual video game episode where we dedicate an entire podcast to talking about our other favorite thing, video games. And so just like last year, we've all come up with our list of our top 5 video games that we've played in the last calendar year. Some honorable mentions in there, too. And we're just going to round robin it and just talk about some good video games. How's that sound, everybody?
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Excited to talk about some good games.
But before we talk about good games, you know what we really have to do?
Can check? No.
Talk about bad games?
Gross food?
No, can check.
Yay.
Brad got it at the jump. It's can check, everybody. What's everybody drinking for the new year?
I have that you might have. This is a pretty obscure drink. You might not have heard of it. It's a Kirin Ichiban.
Whoa, okay, you're getting some of those wacky imports. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's. I just got a big old can of Kirin. 74 centiliters.
Hey, I like a good Kirin.
Fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some fun. How about you all?
Jonathan, what about you?
This is an awards show, so I'm drinking a Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Hell yeah.
Perfect. I, on the other hand, am still drinking holiday beers because back before Thanksgiving, I bought a whole bunch of them for this exact reason.
At least tell us it's a lager. Keep the lager combo going.
It's. I don't know what this is. No, this is a Noda Brewing Cheerwine Holiday Ale.
So it's an ale. That's fine.
It's a wheat ale. I'm sorry.
No,
made with
it's
cherry,
fine.
Pineapple, and yes, Cheerwine.
We should have coordinated if we wanted to all have lagers. I'm just giving you a hard time. That sounds good.
Why pre-plan our bits?
Never.
Yeah, that's not bad. That tastes like drinking a Cheerwine right out of the tap. No, it doesn't, folks. This is a fucking beer.
It's spiked Cheerwine.
It's a cherry wheat ale. What more do you want?
I mean, you got the time? I got a list.
That's the thing. We explicitly do not have the time because we have an hour and change to get through about 20 some video games tonight. And
that's very optimistic of you, my friends. Let's go.
Look,
all right, let's go. Final Fantasy 14.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
No, what we're gonna do first, we're gonna talk about some honorable mentions, some games that weren't, were good, but not our top 5 good.
Yeah.
Who would like to start us off with their honorable mentions for the year?
I can go.
Brad, please, by all means.
I'll get us started. My honorable mentions were Animal Well.
Okay.
Fun little atmospheric Metroidvania, or it's more puzzle oriented, so some people have started calling them Metroid Brainias.
Oh god.
It's
call it Dunkyvania.
Yeah, it was Donkey's big day out for this year. It was the second well type game after Downwell. It was good, but it didn't have the staying power. Like, it was a lot of fun playing it and talking with other people that were playing it at the same time, and like figuring out what certain secrets did and stuff like that. And then there were all of these like sort of meta puzzle layers that I didn't really bother with, but were cool to watch people figure out in real time. So it gets an honorable mention for cool game, fun little social experience. Do you want me to just go through all my HMs, or do we want to round robin them?
Do your list first, and I'll say for my part, like I did play Animal Well and did not finish it, but I did enjoy like the art style at least.
Okay. Another honorable mention: Slay the Spire, absolutely evergreen title. It was my game of the year years ago, and I still play it to this day. I think I could delete all of the other games off of my phone, and I could always be happy with Slay the Spire because I'm terrible at it, and I've only gotten like a quarter of the way through the Ascensions. So, big ups to Slay the Spire. Fantastic game. Excited to see if they can make lightning strike twice with the sequel.
Right.
Another honorable mention, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Now, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, if you're unfamiliar with it, it's not a good game. It gets a bad rap. There's a terrible gacha system in a game that has no right having a gacha system. The combat tutorials are so bad and do such a poor job of explaining the combat that people have made like fan tutorials online that are almost mandatory viewing to understand the combat system. It's full of like weird, gross character designs and anime tropes out the wazoo, but at the end of the day, it's a really fun game, and it's got really great combat, really great set pieces, really great like exploration and areas. This is Monolith Soft kind of at the top of their game, right after they got fresh off of helping with the map for Breath of the Wild. So you can imagine how good those maps are. This is one game that I think if it gets a remaster, like years down the road, people will think of it a lot more favorably because there's a lot of rough edges. It was kind of rushed to market because it was actually one of the first big games that came out for the Switch way back at launch time. Okay.
Right.
This is gonna be a hot button for my honorable mention, and I'm sure we will get back to it. Balatro.
Oh no.
Yeah, I have feelings about Balatro, which we can hash out later.
Okay.
And then the last one is an honorable mention only because I think it would have made the top 5 if I had A, more time to get to it, and B, I'm better at games. A game called Nine Souls,
okay,
which is a Metroidvania that came out middle of the year, but only came to consoles in November, and then as part of Something Awful's Game of the Year lists, everybody was publishing these lists, and so many people gave favorable word. There's such favorable word of mouth around Nine Souls. I had originally just written it off as another Metroidvania, a genre that I'm kind of tired of. But I decided to give it a shot, and it's really good. I might, if it sticks the landing, I might like it better than Hollow Knight. It's got really good combat, parry focus, kind of like Sekiro, and it's got an interesting setting. It's like kind of the developers described it as Tau Punk, So it's like kind of Chinese Taoist sort of stuff, but it cyberpunky, but it kind of pulls it pulls it off. And it has a lot of good things going for it. I'll leave it at that because it might show up in my end of year list this next year. So anyways, those are my honorable mentions. Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Wow. Very good. All right. So let's move it over to Johnny 5. Jonathan, what do you got for us for your honorable mentions?
I didn't really rank anything. I just have a list of games that I would recommend and games that I also played.
Okay.
That are less of a recommend. I'm not saying don't play these games. These are more just like, not as strong a recommend as others. Shadows of Doubt, it's really fucking janky. If it is your cup of tea, though, it is fun to fight against the jank.
Okay.
It's a weird dystopian 80s like detective simulator that just procedurally generates all this shit.
Oh, I think I heard about this one. Yeah.
It is very fun when it works and annoying when it doesn't.
That's kind of, I got that feeling from reading about this one, yeah.
Okay.
And what else have I played this year? Tunic, that was fun. Neil also mentioned Tunic, though, so I'll let him speak on that in his little clip. And that's it for me right now.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I have words about Tunic as well, so we'll save that one for a little bit later. All right, I guess for my part, I got 5 honorable mentions. First of all, there's obviously Vampire Survivors, which I talked about last year on the show, but they had a big update just in the last couple of months where the whole game is now rejiggered around Castlevania, which is great. And I burned through it in about a month, and now having done that, I can safely say I don't ever need to play Vampire Survivors ever again.
It's like you smoked the whole pack of cigarettes and you're finally sick of it.
Pretty much, yeah.
No, I was gonna say, in their defense, they were kind of already doing legally distinct Castlevania to begin with, and finally brought it full circle by getting Konami's blessing. But anyways,
right, and it kind of seems like they were also getting sick of it, so they just did the biggest update they could. It's like, all right, here you get idiots, go, just take it and leave, get out of here. So also I played a whole bunch of Helldivers 2 this spring, which I was a little iffy on including it in my list in the first place because I only kind of played it sporadically, but I had a ton of fun with it because, like, man, who doesn't love Starship Troopers, right? Like, just like fun, it's like squad-based shooter, and you have complete various missions with other random players online, which can be a lot of fun if you get the right players, but also extremely stressful if the players get fed up with how much you suck and decide to leave the game and let you twist in the wind.
There's friendly fire in that game too, isn't there?
Oh, a shitload of friendly fire.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's not so fun, but when it clicks, it's pretty fun. It's one that I haven't played enough of, but I did want to talk about it a little bit.
Gotcha.
One that I, in the last like 2 or 3 weeks, played and then thought about putting on my list and then realized I actually don't like it that much, is Inscription.
Ooh, yeah, I remember you telling me about this.
Which is a deeply addicting, kind of like Balatro, like a cross between like a deck building roguelike, which, we'll talk about that later, and survival horror. And I really loved like the early part of the game until I beat it and realized that was only the early part of the game.
Did you finish the rest of the game?
No, sir, I did not.
Guess what?
What?
You played the best part of the game. That was my main complaint about. Like,
yeah,
the first half of the game is fantastic, and then it kind of outstays its welcome in a big way, in my opinion.
Once you finish the first real boss, it turns into Game Boy Pokemon, and I was done.
It's fine, and it like has more gameplay twists, and it's largely the same gameplay with like different modes, but
different styles, I guess.
It's just I appreciate what it was going for, but it overstayed its welcome big time, and kind of soured me on the whole experience.
Yeah, actually. If the first part of the game had just been the game, I would have loved it.
Yeah,
and then 2 more I want to touch on real quick. One that I literally just finished yesterday, and I'm only talking about it now because I'm not going to talk about it next year, is Dredge.
Okay.
which I also had a lot of fun with for about a week until the fishing elements were what I enjoyed, and leveling up your fishing boat is a lot of fun, and exploring is a lot of fun. And the constant nagging, like, Lovecraftian horror vibes that keep, like, creeping into the story just bring the whole thing down for me.
Would have been.
I think it's kind of the point of it, though.
I know, but, like, I guess what I'm saying is, if I was into that would be great. But I'm not so much into that anymore. You know. And
Lovecraftian settings are a little bit played at this point. I think we all can agree.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can still do well with it, but it's kind of the new zombies, right? A little bit.
Yeah, and we could do an entire episode or an entire different podcast about litigating Lovecraft, and I really don't want to. But
right. And I'm not talking about the problematic elements of the author himself and his works. I'm just talking about, like, that whole oeuvre, if you will. That whole vibe is kind of played.
The cosmic horror of the deep. Like, a little bit of that goes a long, long way, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
it was cool in 2005. I don't know about so much anymore.
Yeah.
Whatever, Grandpa.
Exactly.
I had fun with it for a week, and to be clear, Nikki is also having fun with it. I can literally hear her playing it in the other room right now.
You just wished it was fishing sim. What you really need is a fishing simulator, then, basically.
Well, listen, Paul, put a pin in that, because we're going to talk about that later.
Oh, okay.
We're going to talk about web fishing?
Are we going to talk about web fishing? Hell yeah.
Whatever you say, boss.
All right.
Finally, the one last little honorable mention I want to mention, just because I feel like we owe it to certain people to talk about this. Haunty is a great little game, right?
Yes. Haunty is very charming. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's like a top-down adventure game with a great art style, great music. Mm-hmm. You play as a little ghost person, and it's kind of like a twin stick shooter, but it's an adventure game. Mm-hmm. And you can go around interacting with stuff. Kind of a lot of stuff ends up working kind of like Cappy and Mario Odyssey, where you can possess or become certain elements in the environment and interact with them to solve puzzles. Great game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I need to get back around to finishing it, which is why it's not on my list, but, like, it's a ton of fun, especially around, like, the Halloween season when it's really kind of spooky.
Yeah.
Get you some Haunty in your life.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we have just burned through like 15 games in about 10 minutes, which is amazing. Because we're going to slow that way the hell down now and really concentrate on our top fives.
Yeah.
You can go, like, play video games and start talking about them.
Well, we've played enough of them this year. Let's talk about them for just a little bit.
Should we, before we do that, should we list...
Yeah, let someone else talk about video games.
Let's let somebody else talk about video games for a minute.
Okay, yeah. We threw it to our friends in our Discord channel, which the link to that you can find in our show notes on our website at christmascreeps.com. And we asked them, hey, what was your favorite game that you played in the last year? And we did get a handful of responses. Our buddy Mike from the Advent Calendar House podcast says, I played one new game in 2024, and it was The Legend of Zelda for real this time.
So I was going to ask him what he meant by that, but I thought it would be more fun if we left it open to interpretation.
I think the game where you play as Zelda.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Did anybody else play that?
No, I think he's talking about Zelda Wand of Gamelon.
Right.
Shut your mouth, sir. Well, no, I didn't play it. I haven't played it yet, but I do want to. It's
good. I wouldn't say it's incredible. I actually dropped it for a bit, been meaning to get back to it. There are good things and bad things about it, I would say. I would say it's definitely worth your time. From what I've played. I've played about 10 hours of it.
This is a hilariously inappropriate metaphor, but I'm assuming it's kind of like the El Camino, a Breaking Bad story to Breaking Bad of the Legend of Zelda games. I don't know. That's terrible. No, let me strike that from the record. That's
the El Camino Christmas of analogies.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you.
It's good. It uses the same engine as the Link's Awakening remake,
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah.
So it's got kind of that polished toyetic look. It's cute. My two main beefs with it is it's a bit too easy, I guess. Which I know, right? This is a Zelda game made for everybody. I shouldn't be complaining about that.
So it's right up my alley.
XX Hardcore Gamer 420 over here. No.
Yeesh.
And then, like, some of the menuing, some of the UI stuff could be, like, a little bit better, but it's still a good time. I think you'll have a good time with it.
Okay.
Anyways.
All right.
And, of course, like, it can't be understated. Finally, they made a game where you actually play as Zelda. Good on them.
This is true, yeah. Yeah. Been long enough.
Yes. All right. Do you wanna do the next one too, and then maybe I'll read one or two?
And our buddy Stuart says, my favorite game played was Chants of Sonar, as recommended by the podcast from an earlier year. Horus on a replay was great too.
I need to get back.
That's 2 games, I'm assuming.
Yes, I need to get back to Horus. I enjoyed what I played. I feel like maybe I'm not the target demographic for it because it has a lot of references and apes a lot of like the ZX Spectrum kind of like jumpy adventure game kind of stuff, like Jet Set Willy and all that, but still heard very good things about it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of last year's recommendations, can I just say, based on y'all's recommendation, I did try to play the Talos Principle.
Yeah.
And because I'm a big dumb idiot, I got stuck on an absurdly early puzzle and threw the game away and never came back to it.
Okay, how early are we talking? Are you still in ancient Greece land?
Oh hell no! I'm serious. This is like 2 or 3 hours into the game. I got stuck on a puzzle where I was like, I can't fucking figure it out, and I'm done.
Is it the one with like a bunch of that? I'm about to describe literally every puzzle in the Talos Principle.
Is it the one where there's a laser and you try to shoot it at this thing?
Is it the one with like a bunch of doors and one of the doors is blocking where you need to go? And there's like 4 or 5 doors.
Yeah,
that one gave me a lot of trouble. I remember us being stuck on that one for at least like an hour.
But I got to a point where I felt like I had looked in literally every nook and cranny and could not figure out what the hell I was supposed to do, and I just stopped in utter frustration.
Yeah, that's a tough puzzle. I had to come back to that one I had to sleep on that one. Yeah. I don't blame you.
Anyway,
well, thank you for giving it the old college try.
I certainly did. Brad, do you want to take care of the next 2 we got from our friends?
Sure. The next one is from regular and friend of the show, Dr. Nick. Dr. Nick's favorite game from last year. You know what it's going to be, and I already talked about it on the show, but now that I've finished the trilogy, I gotta say, Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, jumped into my top 10 all-time games. Editor's note, whoa, big.
Yeah, no kidding.
The presentation of the courtroom battles and contradictions is really fun, but what really stuck with me is the character writing. I could play dozens more hours of Phoenix, Maya, and Pearly running around solving murder cases, butting heads with a colorful array of witnesses, crooks, and prosecutors. The entire trilogy is great, even the second game is pretty damn good, but there's just something beautifully concise about the first game. Hard agree. Good stuff.
And then you guys in the Discord have been talking up Ace Attorney for months.
Well, have you ever played a visual novel, Joseph?
I cannot say that I have.
Well, if you're in the mood, Phoenix Wright is a very good one, and it often goes on sale.
All right.
You might want to give it a shot. And then we have friend of the show, Goob Sausage, who we've referred to as Goob before. He writes, my favorite games from 2024, UFO 50, Balatro, Paper Mario, The Thousand Year Door Remake, and then favorite games from previous years. I'm assuming that he played this year. I think so, based on our discussions on Discord. Death Stranding, Deep Rock Galactic, Season 5 moved on from the Rocks Pock and added the ability to access other seasons. Rewatching Slow Beef and Diabetes' Let's Play of Snatcher, and Vampire Survivors for the Castlevania DLC.
Hell yeah.
And then we have and I appreciate his candor. Most disappointing game played: The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom.
Fair enough.
I think his feelings match a lot of mine, but I believe he finished it, so he probably has more of a leg to stand on with that
right.
hot take.
Okay. And then I believe we actually did receive an audio clip from our buddy Niall. Is that correct?
I think so.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and run that.
Lads, how are you? It's Niall, and I played some games this year. Battletron and UFO 50. I played those. Who hasn't? I'll let you go on about those that you undoubtedly have already at this point. Things in here. I had a console right in front of me. This is to remind me. I played Sifu. Came straight to PlayStation Plus account. It's pretty good. Gotta get back around to finishing it. Elden Ring, Shadow of the Earth Tree took up a lot of my time. It's more Elden Ring. It's a little tougher. It's a little different. It's a little funkier, so I can finish that too. What we got here? Blasphemous 2. Bit like Elden Ring, but in two-dimensional, much more Catholic flavoured. I could quite a bit. Looks very pretty. And one here I'm just polishing off here now is Tunic. I think you've talked about that on Discord a little bit. Getting very satisfied with uncovering some of the secrets of that. It was fun to kind of dig out at Christmas too. Give me a lot of those classic Christmas vibes of opening a new game around that time of year. So that's one I've been very much charmed by. So yeah, that's about a lot right here. Keep it tough. Mind yourselves. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And I'll talk to you soon. Mind the body.
All right. Let's hear it for video games, everybody.
Let's hear it for the games. Erdtree was on a lot of people's lists this year, which is, it's absolutely massive as far as a piece of DLC, as far as I understand it. Some good stuff in there.
Yeah, and I'll say I played the first Blasphemous. Did not know there was a sequel, so I gotta go check that out.
There is. I have been meaning to play both the first and the second for quite a while.
And he's not wrong. It is extremely Catholic.
Isn't it? It's all dubbed in Spanish too, isn't it? So it's like Catholic plus.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna double check this right fast because I'm not sure.
I remember hearing or at least it might have multiple languages available, but I heard multiple people recommending playing it in with the Spanish VA.
Oh yeah. It says the game's voices were recorded in Spanish.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Well, but we appreciate all of our friends, jumping in to give us their picks and recommendations. And now it's time for the main event, where the three of us will round robin our top 5 games of the year. Who would like to start off?
Well, I went first on the honorable mention, so I feel somebody else should go first on.
Well, okay, I can go first because my number 5 is very slight, and we don't have to talk about it for much longer at all. But as a sequel to last year's playthrough of all the original Mario games, I also went back and played Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island again this year.
Ooh.
That's my number 5, folks. I fucking love Yoshi's Island.
That is a classic. Mansies.
It's a childhood favorite of mine from the latter days of the Super Nintendo. From a distance, it looks extremely kiddie and cutesy, I get that that's not some people's jam, but the mechanics are so close enough to Mario World 1 to feel the same, but they're unique enough to be completely different. Like the whole mechanic of Yoshi, eating enemies, turning them into eggs, and then throwing the eggs to hit obstacles and things. It's just A+.
That's not how eggs work.
It's totally not.
But you're throwing shit.
Well, they had it coming.
I mean, it's his own shit, so I guess it's fine. I don't know.
You know what? I never thought about it before now, but the fact that all the Yoshis lay eggs, doesn't that imply that all of them are biologically female? I never once thought about that.
Life finds a way, man.
So you're saying that all the Yoshis escaped from Jurassic Park?
Exactly.
Yoshi's Island is Isla Nublar. That makes so much sense now.
It certainly does.
Mamma mia.
Man, Yoshi's Island is so good. It makes just you talking about it makes me want to go back and play it. I have a lot of fond memories of Yoshi's Island. I remember renting it as a kid and being kind of off-put by it because I was so used to the classic standard Mario gameplay loop.
Yeah.
And then I got older and wiser and realized how how good of a game it is. And yes, it looks kiddie, like you said, but especially if you're going for like 100% run, that game's got claws. It can be a tough game, especially
sure
when you're
does,
hunting
man.
for stuff.
And also, can I just say, like, the music in this game, it might be my favorite music in any Nintendo game, like, bar none.
When that athletic theme hits, come on. Other fond memories of it. It was the main game that I played my last night when I was in Tokyo at a retro game bar, because of course I went to a retro game bar in Tokyo.
Of course you did.
And had a grand old time playing that while sipping on some great libations. Just a good ass game, my friends.
Oh yeah.
What a good choice.
Speaking of the music in this game, I have a distinct memory of this music, Brad, that involves you. It was the first time you and I went to PAX. Do you remember this? PAX East.
Okay.
And this was right when the group Super Soul Brothers kind of got started. It was just two guys like busking in the middle of the aisles there, and you tip them $1 and they would play any game song that you could ask them, and they would request. And you and I both have videos, like not 2 or 3 minutes apart, where we each went up to them and asked them to play a Yoshi's Island song, and I think they're the exact same video.
Hell yeah. Man, that was one of the best moments in that entire con, I would say.
I think so too, yeah. 'Cause especially when you and I both like looked at our videos back to back and realized what we had done.
Yes. Great minds think alike, my friend.
Exactly. And yes, of course, I did beat it with the Nintendo Switch Online's rewind feature, because good lord, I'm an old now and need that shit.
Yeah.
No shame.
No shame.
All right, moving on. Who else would like to go number 5? That's 2 number 2s and a number 1.
I guess I'll go. So this is a bit of a weird one. My number 5 for this year is Ring Fit Adventure.
All right.
If you're unfamiliar with Ring Fit Adventure, it is kind of like Wii Fit. It's an exercise game. I had a little bit of a health scare earlier this year where my lipids were not going in the right direction. They're probably still not, because... Anyways, but I decided, that basically my physician told me I need to actually exercise at least a little bit. And good thing I got the gamer brain, what likes to see numbers go up, and things checked off a list. It's just basically like jogging with a Pilates ring, and then there's like workouts. You do planks, you do mountain climbers, you do a lot of squats. And it's not a game I would say I enjoy playing in the moment, but I enjoy the results of playing it. I lost some weight. That also has to do with watching my diet a little bit more. And then everything's like a little bit more toned. I don't get as winded as easily. And Avery plays, my daughter sort of like plays along with me when we do jogging on it.
Oh, okay.
So that's
nice.
fun.
Yeah.
It's good. I like it a lot. And it's got some of that Nintendo charm. Like the character designs are fun, and the environments are colorful and nice and all of that. I do have some minor complaints. Like, I wish it had just like I've got 30 minutes fuck me up mode, where it's just like make me do whatever, Captain. Because as it is right now, it's actually an RPG, and to like get around the world, you have to jog, and then you get in battles, and you set skills in battle, and your skills are different like workouts. So you'll do like 25 planks, and that's an attack, or you'll do 40 squats, and that's an attack.
Oh wow.
But the problem that sort of it falls into is that some of the skills are a lot better than some of the other ones. So I've been doing like a lot of mountain climbers and a lot of planks, and not as much of like the yoga moves, which are not as powerful, but I should be doing them for like that slow twitch kind of stuff.
So your gamer brain takes over, and you start spamming the really hard stuff just to beat the game.
I start min-maxing to maximize my numbers and minimize my reps for numbers. And I wish, if there's a Ring Fit 2, my one wish for it is that it has like a randomizer or roguelike mode, because I'd eat that shit up. But it's a good time. I like it a lot. Except for the stupid pottery minigame. We're not going to talk about it. But yeah, it's I like it. I like Ring Fit Adventure. I had it for a long time. It had been collecting dust, but it's seen a lot more use this last year. And I'm hoping to keep using it still. Anyways.
Well, I will say I'm proud of you for committing to that, Brad.
Don't be too proud of me. It's been hit or miss, but for a good couple of months, it was a habit, and I'm gonna pick it back up again. And I've seen good results. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna save the world from this buff, muscular dragon man wearing spandex. That's really the main enemy of the game.
The only thing that can stop a buff, muscular dragon man is a good buff, muscular dragon man, Brad. And that's you.
Yeah, I think I'm playing as a human, but sure.
Well,
and
okay.
the ring character is very creepy, but in a good way. He reminds me of Gene, the hygiene genie from Rocko's Modern Life, kind of.
Yes.
If you know the reference.
Okay, yeah, I do.
He is like the English male voice actor for it is. He's doing a great job, and he knows what he's doing. He's like, got this high-pitched voice, and he'll say like the creepiest lines, like, "Your sweat is so shiny and beautiful." It's the worst, and I love it. Anyways.
God. Oh my God. All right, let's move on to Jonathan. J-Man, what's your number 5 for the year?
I didn't bother ranking any of these things. These are just games I think you should play. You specifically, Joe.
Why don't you hit us with one? I don't get it. I shouldn't play this.
In that case, hit me with the first of your 5.
Brad, you can play it too. If you want.
Okay.
I'm not the boss of you.
What is it?
Well, I was thinking, because you mentioned something about like a buff spandex dragon man.
Yeah.
What if you fucked the dragon man instead?
That's look. You have to pay extra for that, my friends.
Baldur's Gate 3 is a pretty fun game.
Yes.
I see. Okay, I've never played a Baldur's Gate.
You really don't have to worry about playing 1 or 2 beforehand.
Okay.
All you would be getting out of it is hey, I know that guy a couple of times. That's about it.
Fair enough.
It's made by a completely different company, a completely different engine, completely different everything. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 were kind of a overhead, weird, janky, like, it's called the Infinity Engine. Beamdog put out remasters of them a few years ago. They're honestly worth a recommend as well, but you don't have to play them to play Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is probably one of the more this feels like I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons games of any sort of like role-playing game like this.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it does a lot of the same things as other ones do, but it's a lot of it for me is the presentation. Like when you're trying to tell a lie, it's like it brings up the dice and makes you click the button to roll the dice and everything, and then it adds all your shit up. You can fuck just about everybody in the game who's like around for more than 5 minutes.
Who has a willing and waiting hole? Sorry. That
yeah,
got
pretty
a
much.
little graphic.
No, like there's like there are 6 like main party members, and like 9 characters total are romanceable. So like there's those 6 and then even more. There's the hot vampire elf. There's the one hottie lady. There's the other hottie lady. There's the demon lady. There's the you can fuck the wizard. You can fuck the other wizard. There's all kinds of people in that game. But I would definitely recommend it though. I'm not too far into it yet because I just got it in the winter sale. Karen is absolutely engrossed in it. It's all she's been doing lately. If I had more free time, I would be doing the same.
Yeah, I've heard great things about it.
Yes, it's a very fun story, very easy to get into, even if you're not really a Dungeons and Dragons type, because it'll do a lot of the hard work for you. Like, it makes you go through the motions of being like, oh, I'm a level 3 fighter, that means I need to pick my subclass and blah blah and shit like that. Not fighter. Fighters don't have subclass. Fighters fighting styles. But anyway, it makes you pick your subclass and shit. There's a somewhat limited selection, but there's enough to get the point across. Lets you pick spells and shit. It's relatively forgiving too. Feel free to save scum all you want. I recommend it highly.
I've heard it's the closest you can get to D&D without having a dedicated group and a DM.
Yes,
basically.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, I agree.
But like the depth of it, like all the stuff you can spin off into, wild goose chases are like all over the place from the drop, is what I've heard. And apparently Act 3 is just like big enough to be a game in itself, essentially.
Would not surprise me. I'm still in Act 1. It would not surprise me, though. This game is massive as it is. I've spent several hours into it, and I still am like nowhere. I'm still in the first map, basically. I'm still running around, and I'm still running around in the wilderness by the Emerald Grove because I'm just like, I gotta look at everything. What's over here? It has a nice touch to it where there are things, because there's a jump button where you can just jump. It lets you do stuff that, like, it's one of those games that lets you feel like you're breaking it and you're absolutely not doing anything you're not intended to do.
Yeah.
Because you can just, like, what if instead of I walked down this road and fought these guys, I just jumped across this ravine and just ignored them completely? Or walked up behind them. Shit like that, you know?
Yeah. But it's in the spirit of D&D, because a good
absolutely.
A good DM should let you do that kind of shit. Right?
Yeah.
And plan for it.
A DM should never say yes or no. A DM should say, you can fucking try.
Exactly. Yes.
Right. Right. If this is your list of games that I personally should try to play, I will definitely look into this one. I'm all for a good role-playing game nowadays.
Everyone should play this. I just felt like it would be fun if it was phrased as a personal attack on Joe.
Well, I mean, everything is.
Yeah. It's one of the perks of being the host.
That's my job here, is to be J-Man's punching bag.
Hell yeah.
Oh, boy.
All right, number 4.
Speaking of role-playing games that are for babies, but also for adults who are in their 40s, hey, let's talk about Tunic for a while.
Let's.
So yeah, if you're not familiar with Tunic, it's like it's heavily inspired by Legend of Zelda, like a Legend of Zelda riff that like both rewards and confounds you for having any affection for Zelda games at all. Where you play as a little fox in a green tunic, and you explore the ruins of a fallen kingdom. And the further you explore, the more backstory gets revealed to you. I mean, that's pretty much every Legend of Zelda game ever, but also like it's told in this like kind of 2/3 perspective, like an isometric perspective, I guess you call it. Mm-hmm. Which is a little aggravating when you're trying to control shit, but that's neither here nor there. But what I will say is what my favorite aspect of this game is like the art style and the I guess the way it reveals its backstory, which is through this system where you collect pages of the actual game's instruction manual. And the more pages of the instruction manual that you collect, you literally start to learn how to play the game instead of just fucking around until you randomly happen across something. And
yeah, the instruction manual is written in like a cipher, like a made up language. It absolutely is translatable. You do not have to do that though.
Right. But like it gives you like the backstory. It gives you sort of the hints of where you're supposed to go next, but also it literally tells you like mechanics of like the things you need to do to play the game. And unless you just randomly happen across that button combination first, you don't know what to do until you find that page. And part of that is it's like beating your head against a wall until you randomly figure things out on your own, which is like most of the early original Zelda games. It's great and also maddening as fuck.
It very much captures the spirit of, I rented this game that I've never heard of before from the video rental place that's in the grocery store. This is even Blockbuster tier. This is I rented it from the grocery store tier.
Yeah, this is Kmart tier.
I got 2.5 days before I got to return this. Let's see what I can get up to.
Exactly.
And the instructions are like a hastily photocopied, like somebody wrote it up on a typewriter. Like jump is A, do whatever is B, and it's not even right. Do you guys remember that?
Yes, I remember those. They had like the castle and the guy with the knight in them, and like it was always like, here's the controls, here's a little bit about how to play the game, here's like several deep dark secrets with no context whatsoever. Was always what they were.
Hints 1, 2, and 3. Are they relevant? You don't know. Hopefully you'll rent it again so you can find out for yourself. But it's also maddening in that, like, once you get to the end of the game, is only then when you find out, it was
all a dream. No, I'm kidding.
No. Oh, you've missed a couple of things, and oops, congratulations, you got the bad ending.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not playing it again. Like, I had my fun with it the one time, but I had a whole lot of fun with it that one time. So that's why it's my number 4 instead of something like Dredge. I played Tunic for like 2 or 3 months, kind of obsessively.
Whew,
I had a very good time with it, but I am the kind of bad video game player who does not learn things easily.
I might have to look into this Tunic.
Oh yeah,
I've heard good things about it. Right.
And also, if it's one of those games where if it gets too difficult, you can just turn the damage off and just play through the game for the story. So
for the puzzle and story of it, rather than the combat. Yeah.
But also, it's just got a beautiful art style too. Like it's well worth the look. I enjoyed it immensely.
Nice.
And that's all I have to say about Tunic, Bradford.
I want to apologize in advance for like most of my choices because it's just gonna be me like hyper fixating for 5 minutes at a time. My number 4 is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So this year I know Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was an honorable mention.
Right.
There's a theme to this. So this year I made it my sort of personal goal as far as games go to deal with some unfinished business and play through the Xenoblade Chronicles games. I finished one 2 years ago, and I really enjoyed my time with it. I had dropped 2 like a pile of hot rocks back when it came out, and finally got my revenge against that, and then as soon as I rolled credits on the DLC for 2, which was great, by the way, Torna the Golden Country, I immediately went straight into 3.
Mm-hmm.
And it's head over heels. It's a much better game than 2, and in my opinion, even 1. If you're unfamiliar with the Xenoblade Chronicles games, they're by Monolith Soft. They're published by Nintendo. They're absolutely massive sort of RPGs, sort of in the vein of a single player MMO as far as sort of like the terrain and the combat. Really focused on sort of traversal and exploration. Monolith Soft also famously did a lot of the map design on Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
I just want to make sure that I'm not missing here. This is not the same as Monolith Productions from like No One Lives Forever, right?
Nope. This is Monolith Soft. They did the original Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii. They did Baten Kaitos, and before that, a lot of the devs worked on the Xenosaga series at Namco and Xenogears way back when at Square. So these are kind of spiritual successors to Xenogears and Xenosaga. This is sort of the culmination of that creator's vision for these games, this series. And they have sort of weird causal links back to those other games, but they're surface level, and I've never played any of the other games, aside from one good friend's misguided efforts to get me to play Xenogears back in high school, which I played maybe 45 minutes of. Anyways, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 it's an RPG, and man, it's really good, especially if you've played Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2, because the sort of core of the story is that the worlds of Xenoblade 1 and 2 have sort of been smashed together by a toddler playing with 2 pieces of Play-Doh, and that is literally the plot, is that the 2 worlds are at war with one another. And you don't have to have played the other 2 games, but like there's so many like nods and stuff. I would still recommend this game if you've never played any of the other Xenoblade games. It's just that good. The combat is probably the best it's ever been. It's heavily tutorialized. They learned their lessons from 2. The world building and sort of the world that they live in is great. The map is fantastic. Sorry, where do I begin? And it's the first Xenoblade game that I think the story actually exceeds any sort of like gameplay and world building. This might be my favorite JRPG ever. The main cast, I love every single one of these goofballs. I could play 100 hours more with them. It still has, I think I talked about the original Xenoblade a couple times on this show. They always get sort of UK or Australian, or not UK, like, actually, yeah, UK or Australian voice actors for most of the roles, except for the weird exception of these this race called Blades, which are all inexplicably incredibly American, which is a fun little contrast. I liked it when Hades does it. I like it when they do it here as well. Anyways, I could gush about this game for a long time, so I'm just gonna shut up and say it made me cry a couple of times. I really enjoyed my time with it. Oh man, I can't wait to see where this series goes. I'm gonna I don't know. I'm trying to I feel like I can't, it's a hard sell, but it's a good game, y'all. It's a good game.
Hey, sometimes a good game's just a good game, you know?
I don't know. Do you have any questions, I guess I should ask you, that I can answer about this game? It's the core concept is all of the characters have 10 years to live, and they're like genetically engineered soldiers, but the main characters end up breaking the cycle of this and end up just basically wrecking shit and liberating all of these giant ass mecha that are the homes. They're basically the towns in this world. They're like mobile mecha, and they destroy them in order to liberate all of the different groups, and there's a class system, and I like it a lot, y'all. I don't like JRPGs that much, but I love these games.
It's that one meme. This is Brad's hole. It was made for him.
Oh, two of the other games that I'm about to talk about are like even more my hole than this game. In any other year, this would be my number one.
Okay.
Anyways,
we're at the 55-minute mark. We've got to fucking move.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm excited about the re-release of Xenoblade Chronicles X. Let's go on. Sorry.
Okay.
I'll shut up now.
All right, Jonathan, hit us with your number 4.
Speaking of JRPGs, you should play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. You should also play Remake, for that matter, but Rebirth is incredibly fucking good. It is a psychotic game. That's the best way I could describe it, in a good way.
Yeah.
They took Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is already a absolutely insanely massive game, and just said, what if it was also just too big? And I'm like, yes, I'll take it. I like it. Please give me more. There's a ridiculous number of fucking minigames, some of them returning from the original, a lot of them just, now we're just gonna ride air drafts around a chocobo, why the hell not? Now we turn into frogs and play, a challenge from fucking MXC or Takeshi's Castle or whatever, why not?
I've heard it's maximalist in the best way.
Yes.
The way that I saw it conveyed to me is like somebody was like late into the game and into a chapter, and they saw that like new shit had unlocked in every single area in the rest of the game, like multiple times.
Yeah, you get to chapter 12 and it's just like, hey, go back to everywhere because there's more shit to do now.
Wonderful. Oh, see, that was much more concise. I need to edit down. I want to redo on Xenoblade. No, I'm just kidding. I kid.
We've got to move, friends.
Yes, we're gonna move. We're gonna move.
Wasted all of our time on the bad games. Let's spend like 2 minutes on the good games. Anyway, here's my number 3. Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Mr. Normie ass bullshit over here. So my summer was spent playing Skyrim again.
Awesome. No, I can appreciate it.
No, and the only reason is after putting down Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Nikki and I both agreed, like, we still want to shoot arrows and ride dragons. What can we do? And I said, I've got it. We're playing Skyrim.
You shouted Fus Ro Da into her face.
Yep, and blew her back across the couch. And we booted that game up, and made a cat person and named it after our cat and had a great time.
Very nice. Skyrim was one of those games where when I rented it originally, and I played it for about 2 hours, and I was like, I need to never play this game again, because otherwise it will probably consume every waking hour of my life.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
The first time I played it was on PC, and I sank entirely too many hours of my life into that game. So this time I tried to be selective about the missions and things that we did, and that was a fucking fool's errand, because as soon as
you select all of them.
Yeah, just play all of them. It's entirely too easy to just get lost wandering around and find yourself trapped in 3 missions at once.
More of everything.
It's great. The only thing I'll say with it now is it is indeed definitely showing its age for an almost 15-year-old game. And even the remastered version on the PS5, it still looks very much like a PlayStation 3 game. So there's that.
I can believe it.
But it's still fun it's still fucking Skyrim, you guys. I love it.
Nice.
That's all I got. So
okay,
moving on.
Okay, I'm gonna be more. Oh wait,
this
I'm
is
gonna be more
Jonathan's
concise. It's Jonathan's turn, of course.
No, it's not.
It's my turn. That's right.
Okay.
UFO 50, fantastic. Moss Mouths, the creators of Spelunky and Spelunky 2, created a game that is 50 games in one, and they built like a whole mythos around them finding these games in like a garage. Oh, chef's kiss. There are some games in here that probably would make the top 10 list if they were released by themselves alone. Cannot recommend this enough. All of them have sort of this 8-bit style, but a lot of them 8 sort of more modern design ethos. There's a lot of board game DNA in a lot of these games as well. I feel like the creators have been playing a lot of like modern tabletop games. When they created this, I cannot recommend it enough. Fantastic. If you haven't played it, absolutely go and play it. There will be something for you there. It's got it all. It's got strategy games. It's got puzzle games. It's got action games. It's got arcade games. It's got shmups. It's got racing games.
I saw someone playing one, and the best way to describe it is, what if VVVVVV was also like a Master Blaster?
Yes! Vangrinner. Yes, that's Vangrinner. I could talk about every single one of these games, but I'm not going to because I wasted too much time on Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So, Mooncat is my favorite. It's a 2-button game that was created originally for a game jam, and it's like a little adventure game, and it's literally half of the buttons on your controller are one button, half of the ones on the left side all do one thing, the ones on the right side all do the other thing, and it's, you have to rewire your brain to play it. It's awesome. I love it. Anyways, check it out.
Yeah, I need to check out UFO 50, especially like after you mentioned that it was from the creators of Spelunky. Like, yeah, I need to get on this.
You do need to get on this. There's one that takes a lot of stuff from Spelunky, Campanella 2.
Okay.
It's basically like Spelunky 3.
Oh my god, don't even say that to me.
So anyways.
Alrighty. UFO 50 from Bradford. All right, who's next? I believe it's J-Man's turn. Number 3.
All right, this is the part where it's a personal attack on Joe. You should play Marvel Rivals, you fucker.
I know, I kind of blasted you last time because I wasn't into it, and I should probably give it more of a fair shake, but I think my misgiving was, it's Overwatch.
It's
Marvel
Overwatch.
Rivals is Overwatch 1 made by people that realized what was bad about Overwatch 2.
Okay. I'll accept that.
So
it has a battle pass. I'm completely fucking ignoring it because I don't give a shit about any of the skins. It's third person instead of first person. It's a 6-on-6, so they got that right at least. So you can actually have 2 fucking tanks now and don't feel like you're ruining things because you're not playing the optimal tank or what the fuck ever. I like Rocket Raccoon because he has a gun that he shoots people with to heal them. That's always nice. But the characters are ridiculous. Like, you have Iron Man is always flying unless he gets knocked down. Storm's always flying. There are completely melee-only characters like Wolverine or Iron Fist. There are snipers like Black Widow and Hawkeye. There's it's all over the place. They're adding even more stuff. They're adding the Fantastic Four coming up. They're adding Blade pretty soon.
Oh god.
Which, and I love the team up feature too, where it's like if you just bother to pick characters that have synergy, you just do extra shit, like because you picked good. Like if you have Groot and Rocket Raccoon on the same team, Rocket can ride around on Groot's shoulders, and not only does Groot get more health, but Rocket gets a damage reduction. Like, he doesn't take as much damage.
I think one of the bigger selling points to this, too, is doesn't it basically completely ignore the MCU?
Yes, it is its own multiverse where the entire point is, everyone got sucked into the same multiverse. Oh no, let's fight about it.
Is Squirrel Girl in it?
Yes, she is.
Hell yeah.
She's basically Junkrat from Overwatch.
Cool.
Also, canonically, within the game, Dracula does owe Moon Knight money.
Oh, so it's literally like the Secret Wars video game. Okay, I see how it is.
Is it? It's free to play?
Yes. It's free to play. You can give them money for premium currency for skins and cosmetics and shit and battle pass and all that dumb shit if you want to. Or you can just play.
But it's the first 6 months of Overwatch 1.
Yes.
Oh, no.
They don't charge for characters. They just keep adding more of them. Like I said, Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm are announced to be coming soon, more sooner rather than later. The rest of the Fantastic Four, Blade, Deadpool maybe, a couple other... Someone named Angela, I think, who's apparently Thor's sister or something, I don't know. Anyways, there's a bunch of Marvel people you've heard of anymore that you haven't. They all play differently enough that you can probably find somebody that just clicks with you. I recommend giving it a try if you have any interest in like a shooty man's game at all.
Fun!
Okay, Jonathan, for your sake, I will try to give Marvel Rivals a fairer shake. I will give it a second chance.
All right.
Okay. Maybe we'll need to boot it up on a Twitch stream at some point. Who knows? Oh, is it my turn now? Okay.
Number 2.
Number 2. What's my number 2? Jesus Christ! It's Balatro.
It's Balatro, everybody.
It's time to talk about the card game where number go up and I can't stop playing, and what the hell happened to my life.
The main thing I know about Balatro is a picture of Sungwon Cho sitting at his computer like with his head and his hands in despair while the screen says "you win" on it.
I know that feeling all too well because the first, like, I'd say the first week or two of playing Balatro, you are not going to win at all, and you just have to be okay with that. And the first time you fucking win, it's just such an enormous relief that you just can't believe you've done it. And you're at a point where you're like, I can either put this game down now, or I can keep going. I kept going.
Then you realize you have 12 other decks with 8 other stakes to get through.
Yes.
If you truly want to beat this game. And then you have to get a sticker on every single Joker if you want to get completionist.
And let me tell you, I'm on the second to last deck right now, and I'm pulling my fucking hair out trying to beat it.
Wait, which deck is that?
It's, or rather, no, not the decks, the stake difficulties. Yeah, I'm playing
stake, right?
Yeah, I'm playing the easiest fucking deck, which is the
red deck.
No, it's the Spades and Hearts deck, because that's just nothing but flushes all the way down.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
And I'm trying so hard, and it's just not happening. And then the other day, I got super fucking bored sitting in my car, so I bought the mobile version of Balatro. And in my first fucking game, I unlocked a planet that I had no idea existed in the console version. So now I'm playing the console version, trying to figure out what the fuck do I do to get this fucking card.
Wait, was it the Flush 5 planet or the 5 of Kind planet?
It was the Flush 5 planet, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which, like, I know how to do it. It's just like it's all luck of the draw. So, like, are you gonna do it? You don't know until it happens.
Yeah, you gotta modify your deck. So
exactly.
Balatro's absolutely fantastic.
Yes. So if you're not familiar with Balatro, it's literally just poker, but it's also a deck building game where you add cards and you have jokers that give you multipliers, and other, like, tarot cards give you multipliers, and you're just trying to beat these blinds that are increasingly increasingly difficult. It's a
Wait,
number simulator.
John, have you played Balatro?
No, you should buy it for me.
I don't want to do that to another human being. So here's the thing with
that's basically sponsoring somebody for like an addiction program.
Yeah, it's basically I bought you heroin. I don't think I can live with that on my conscience.
I mean, I already buy myself like meth with my number 2 game anyway. So like, what are you talking about?
Okay. Well, maybe we'll have to arrange something. So I love Balatro. It's great. When I originally started playing it, I thought it was a shoo-in for my number 1 game of the year. Like, hands down. I love the aesthetic of it. Like, my headcanon is like you're wandering through... Are you guys familiar with the Salton Sea?
Yes.
So, like, it's this area that they originally tried to build up to be like this vacation area after they made essentially an ecological mistake with irrigation. And flooded an area, but now it's like the middle of the desert, and there's a bunch of like dead fish all on the shores, and like it's just like a barren desert.
Am I confusing it with something else?
Maybe it's a barren desert with a salt lake in the middle of it, and it's like a bunch of like RVs and like art made out of trash and stuff like that. And my headcanon is that like you're wandering through the Salton Sea and you find a ruined bar that's abandoned, and there's inexplicably a video poker machine sitting in the bar. And it's
what's the town on Salton Sea?
There's a
Bombay Beach.
Yeah, Bombay Beach. It's basically like you wandered into a ruined bar in Bombay Beach, and this cursed video poker machine is plugged.
I do know that because that is like that's where Trevor lives in Grand Theft Auto 5 is basically Bombay Beach with the numbers filed off.
Right. And I love that aesthetic and the music. There's one song, and this is an accomplishment in itself. I've never gotten sick of that song. I don't know.
You are not wrong, but also it's so funny you say that because my one complaint was going to be I wish there were more songs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like I don't mind it, but at a certain point I tune it out and I don't even hear it anymore.
It's the Balatro song. It's gonna be as iconic as Mario.
Nah.
My one complaint about Balatro, and that's why I switched over to playing more Slay the Spire, is that I found more and more as I went, as far as like getting higher stakes, is a lot of like the min-maxing. A lot of the runs ended up kind of feeling kind of the same.
Sort
of. You always focus on flushes or full houses at the beginning, and then you have to make sure you get an economy, and you make sure you get cards that scale. So you're doing something. Either you're doing tarot cards or you're refreshing the shop in order to scale the number up. And I keep going back to it because I'm a sick man. But my main complaint with it, and I'm excited to see what gameplay updates they have coming for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Is that it ends up feeling a little too samey compared to other things like Slay the Spire.
Yeah, I get that, and I think the reason I'm still putting it at my number 2 is because like I'm still finding little things about it that just hit that lizard part of my brain. Because like I only just realized a few days ago that there are different types of multipliers. Like there's multipliers that add, ×4 to the total multiplier. There's also multipliers that double the entire multiplier.
Multiply your multiplier, right?
Exactly.
Those cards are key.
Yeah, so you try to maximize both of those, and oh boy, it's an exercise in math.
Yes, and don't neglect your chip count, and also don't neglect your planets and all that.
Oh, absolutely.
You gotta engage with every part. That is the one thing I will give Balatro credit for, is it's extremely well thought out in that, especially at the higher stakes, you cannot ignore any part of the game.
No,
like
you can
always
try.
have to be. Economy is like key, but you also have to be worrying about your chip count, worrying about your multiplier, worrying about all of your planet levels, everything.
Worrying about your money.
Like, grooming, worrying about, that's what I mean by economy. Like grooming your deck and everything like that. You have to be engaging with every part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good game.
And yet it's still not my number one.
Yet still not your number one.
But we've talked enough about Balatro, so let us move on to...
Okay.
I believe it's Bradford's turn?
Yes, and I will keep this extremely brief because I think I'm maybe one of 20 people that might be interested in this game in the entire world.
Okay.
My number 2 is Sheer the Wanderer, the Mystery Dungeon of Serpent Coil Island. Big fan of the Sheer the Wanderer series. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's part of the Mystery Dungeon larger series by Spike Chunsoft. It is essentially a console version of Rogue, or roguelikes in the most traditional sense, and where you're traversing a dungeon. You're a dungeon man. There are potions, there are spells, there are swords and sorcery. But it's set in sort of like a Japanese setting. I adore this series, and it got a new entry, and it's basically everything I could have ever wanted. And yet again, I've said this multiple times, it was going to be my number one, but one thing has supplanted it, which I will leave you in suspense for. It's very good. I like it a lot. If you have any interest in roguelikes, it's a pretty good entry point into it. If it ever goes on sale, check it out.
That's all I'm gonna check this one out.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, cool. I see it's on Switch.
Yes, it originally launched for Switch, and now it's on Steam.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
All right. Moving on, J-Man, number 2.
This is only number 2 because I have something I actually want to talk about as number 1. Number 1 actually is my game of last year and probably this year as well. But first, because I want to start a fight with both of you, we're going to talk about Final Fantasy XIV, and the music you're going to pick for this is called Be My Honey. B-E-E, My Honey. Put that music in the background here, you motherfucker.
Okay, Jonathan, tell me about it.
Tell us about Final Fantasy XIV, Jonathan.
All right, it is, I would say, if you actually wanted to play it, it is first a Final Fantasy game and an MMO second. Keep that in mind. There's a lot of shit you do on your own. You can do it at your own fucking pace. There's a free trial that you get a good 60-70% of the game's content in it through that, just to get a taste of it, the story content. They just added Chitara from Thundercats. You can play her now. There's a titty slider for that for you. If you really want to be a 2'10" character, you can do that. If you want to be a 7-foot tall dude, you can do that too. Minimum height is 2'10", max height is 7'6".
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Oh wow.
It is been going on for 10 years now since they rebooted the game, basically. 10 years worth of story to play. It's a lot of people, I won't disagree with them, get extremely into the story. It has a lot of very fun, memorable characters. It is about the only reason Square Enix makes money, for better or worse.
But hey, it funded all of the HD 2D shit, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah. It has a free fucking trial. Give it a shot. If you don't like it, oh well. If you do like it, let me give you a referral code so that I can get the last gold chocobo feathers and get the last referral reward.
Yay!
Yay! No, Jonathan, for you, I will try that out just so you can get that reward. But
whoa,
I will say this in my own defense: I have never in my life played a Final Fantasy, and I don't know if I need to start now.
Really? Never
Yeah.
played one.
Yeah, no, never happened.
Huh.
You probably don't. I would just say this game is really all over the place too, in pulling in references from other shit. The latest expansion really heavily references Final Fantasy IX. The one before it really heavily Final Fantasy IV. It's all over the place. There's an entire series that basically is just the Ivalice stuff from like Final Fantasy Tactics Advance and Final Fantasy XII and Vagrant Story. There's a bunch of references to that. It's all over the fucking place. There's fantasy, like straight up high fantasy shit. There's pirates. There's like a city in the desert full of like weird money grubbing dudes. There's fantasy Japan.
Oh, no.
There's fucking fantasy India. There's fantasy modern day shit too. Why the hell not? It's all over the fucking place.
Okay.
All right.
It has a free trial. Go fucking play it.
Okay. Oh boy.
Huh.
Mainly, I wasn't going to talk about this until I realized I could make you play Be My Honey in the background of this.
Nice.
Fair enough. You know, I do what I can for my friends. I'll say that.
Oh.
Oh. So I guess now's the time we got to start talking about our number ones, right?
Our factual games of the year.
Our favorite games of 2024. They don't have to be games from 2024, just the games that we played in 2024. And my number one is, well, it's the reason I started playing Balatro. And the reason I started playing this game at all in the first place is because I watched Brad live stream it for a hot minute back in, I guess, the spring of last year.
Yeah, it's been a while.
This is Dave the Diver, friends. And like I said, I only got hooked on Balatro because Balatro had a tiny little crossover expansion into Dave the Diver, and that gave me that tiny little taste of how to play Balatro. And once I got it, the hooks were in. But this game, it's a virtual fish tank, it's an exploration game, it's a restaurant management sim. It did more for my relaxation than just about any other game I played in 2024.
It's got it all, and it's got Godzilla. It's got friggin' Godzilla DLC. This game was made for you.
That's really why it was number one. Like, you fight Ibira at one point. It's great. But also, I do just love that it's also the game that that Nikki really, really got into. Like, I think she's been getting more and more into video games this year, and I think that's been her gateway drug into a lot of these things. Because, like, I can tell you right now, that's definitely her favorite game of the year.
Nice.
And we're both, like, so excited for the DLC that's coming this year. I don't know if it's the jungle one. I don't know if it's a DLC pack or if it's just like a new game straight up, but we're here for it.
Nice.
Yeah, like there's I don't even know what to say. Like, the music's full of like light, like soothing tunes. A lot of the music that they added late in the I guess life cycle of the game, really good. I wish I can't really believe I'm saying, because it's not my kind of music, but I like it. The gameplay is as fast paced as you make it, which I also really appreciate. And it's just it's such a chill game, and I needed that this year.
Yes. Who among us didn't need that? Yeah.
Dave the Diver. It's great.
It's a good game. I've been meaning to play more of it, but I'm glad that I planted that seed. It's for something that you enjoyed so much.
Yeah, it's so funny too, because like I watched you play it for like maybe a minute. I watched my brother play it for maybe a minute, and as far as I know, the two of you kind of put it down and never went back to it. But like, it consumed most of my summer and fall.
Awesome.
I got so into Dave the Diver. It's insane.
Nice.
Mini games, like cooking sims, love it. It's great. I can't say enough about it. So let me just stop and let somebody else take over.
I gotta go back and give it another shot, I think. Did you play it? What did you play it on? Did you play it on Switch or on PS, or did you play it on something else?
PS, yeah, PS5. It was on the PlayStation catalog of games, and I just got it for free. I would definitely have paid money for it though.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I guess that means it's my go.
Yes, sir.
So my number one game for this last year is a game called Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. Have you heard of this game?
Yes, I was just looking at it today. Yeah.
So it's a puzzle game. The core conceit, the best way I can describe Lorelei and the Laser Eyes to somebody who's played games before is, so what if you had Resident Evil, which has a big mansion full of zombies and puzzles, but instead of the zombies, it's just more puzzles.
Okay. It's
just puzzles all the way down. It is not an escape room. It is an escape house. Full of nothing but puzzles. Of all sorts of different, all different stripes. But man, the vibes, as the kids say, are immaculate. I wouldn't say any of the puzzles are like too hard. I never had to like look up the solution to a puzzle, which I think is a big plus in my book. I would say it's like a medium level escape room puzzle, but the presentation in this game and the story, it's just so slick. It's in a monochrome presentation, but with bits of like pink or red scattered throughout. Oh, Oh, it's so good. It makes a lot of there's a lot of reference to like old European films and stuff like that as well. Just a really this is Samogo. They had done Sayonara Wild Hearts before this, and Device 6 and Yearwalk. If you've ever heard of any of those games before that.
I have, yeah.
It's not really horror, but it's got like sort of a creepy vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
It does this really cool thing too with the graphics where it like overlays static images on top of the 3D graphics. It's hard to describe in words, but it really has a nice effect on everything. Ooh, I love this game. I devoured it. I played like maybe a couple hours of it, then I set it down. But December, as you know, is the time for puzzle games. This is the same thing I did with Talos Principle last year, where I just sat down and devoured it. I've got multiple pages of handwritten notes.
Oh, man.
I can drop this in the Discord if you want, if you don't care about spoilers, although a lot of the puzzles, thankfully, are randomized across runs. So, like, my notes may not even apply to your runs if you decide to play this. It's a good-ass game. I loved this game. It is my number one game of this year. I cannot recommend it enough. If you enjoy puzzles at all, I would absolutely check it out.
Nice. Yeah, like this was one I was curious about, but I just hadn't gotten to. So, like, your recommendation, like, I'm ready. I'm ready for another puzzle game that I can rage quit 2 hours into the game.
Here, I'm dropping my notes. This is just from the last maybe 4 hours of the game, because before that I was making do with the other nice thing about this game. Sorry, one more thing. I know I've talked too much, but the nice thing is every single piece of documentation that you interact with in the game is saved to a log called photographic memory. Mm-hmm. So you never have to go back and refer to another piece of information. It's always right at your fingertips, which is invaluable. It's great. I love this game.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. So I just dropped my notes that look like something out of A Beautiful Mind into the Discord. You can check it out if you want.
Oh, anyways. My goodness.
Oh, and the aesthetic is so good, y'all. Anyways.
All right.
Done.
But last but not least, Jonathan, what was your number one game of the year?
All right, guys, I got some bad news and some good news, and both of them are that the root trees are dead.
Oh, heard good things about this, and go on.
Steam release on January 15th. Fucking buy it. Or go play the free version on it if you really want to, but give him money, though. Give that guy money.
What is this?
It is, what if the Return of the Obra Dinn was actually about genealogy instead?
Okay, all right. This sounds like an extremely Jonathan game.
Yes, the premise of it is that some rich guy and his entire family died, and everyone's scrambling to figure out who's supposed to get his money, and you get approached by a mysterious figure to say, hey, you're really good at this research shit. Make a family tree so we know who's supposed to get money. And it's set in 1998. You have a 1998-ass computer. There's a degauss button on the monitor. Hell yeah.
Oh, my God.
You are searching 98 internet for trying to find information on who's who in the family. A lot of like weird tangential side clues and shit like that to piece stuff together. And also the Steam release is coming out with an entirely new second story as well. It is absolute. It ate an entire fucking evening when we played it. For the first time, and I'm just watching the clock like Millhouse, waiting for more.
Nice.
Yeah, I could see this being one that Nikki would really be into, so I may have to pull this one out.
This is another one that is definitely on my list, and I've been waiting for the Steam release.
Yeah, the itch release uses AI art, which is why he doesn't charge for it, and regardless of fuck AI art, it does suffer from it because AI art quality is only so much, especially when you're trying to figure out, is this guy in this picture the same guy in this picture taken 40 years later?
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, I see here the planned release date on Steam, January 15th.
Yes.
So that will be out the day after this episode airs.
Buy it. Buy that. Buy Final Fantasy 14 online, A Realm Reborn, and put my referral code in so that I can get gold chocobo feathers. Also buy Baldur's Gate 3. Also buy Lorelei and Laser Eyes. That game's on my radar. I need to get that.
Buy us all a copy of Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, please.
Lorelei and the Laser Eyes Council, send us Laser Eyes.
Yeah, that's funny you say that because Annapurna Interactive is the one who published it, and you heard about the whole big debacle with them, where basically like everybody jumped ship because they had a crisis of faith with the leadership.
Yeah,
Samogo is the one who actually made it, so I'm assuming that they'll be able to get the rights back to it eventually and re-release it. But I mean, it's still available, but it's just funny that you mentioned that. I wasn't going to mention it for brevity's sake.
That's how the things go. You make a good game and then the publisher is bad.
Yes.
It happens all the time.
It happens a lot. I guess
everyone just let Donkey publish your games. Fuck it. Why not?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, Animal Well seems to be doing really well for itself. Yeah.
Yes.
I also have here, Nikki just texted me her top 5 because I guess now she's listening outside the door. But so I'm just going to read it verbatim, what she sent me. And it's a lot of what we've already covered. So here it goes. Number 5, Skyrim. Number 4, Dredge. Number 3, Balatro. Number 2, it just says watching Joseph shoot people. I'm pretty sure that means Fortnite. And number 1 was Dave the Diver. So she loved it just as much as I did.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't want to talk about Fortnite because I've played it enough, and I'm trying to dissociate myself from it. Oh, God. Guys, we've talked about a lot of video games. I think it's time we go play some video games. What do you say?
Yes.
Oh, man. We have run entirely too long, but thank you so much for listening to this double-length episode of Christmas Creeps, where we talk about video games. And I promise you this, we will be back in short order with actual Christmas movie podcasting soon enough. But thank you for listening, friends. I'm trying to be positive here in 2025, okay?
We're doing our best.
We're doing our best here. But if there's anything... Hey, listeners, if you want to tell us what your favorite games of 2025 were, come join our Discord channel. The link is in the show notes, and we'll talk about video games all day long.
If you're the guy that created Air Bud, like, hey, what's up? Like, I think you might be dead, but if you're the guy who owns Air Bud now, like, hey, what's up? Why aren't you making more movies about Air Bud's kids doing, like, Santa hijinks?
You are literally addressing Bob Iger right now, but okay.
Bob Iger. I want to fucking fight you.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, who doesn't? Come on. We're on. I'm trying to end the show here, folks. We're on the socials. We're on Blue Sky and Facebook and Instagram and all that fun crap. We are also on the internet at christmascreeps.com. That's our home page. That's our home site where all of our shit is. You can also find us on YouTube, where each episode will be uploaded the day it releases. So for people who, for whatever reason, listen to podcasts on YouTube, there are some of you out there. I know there are. This is the call for you. Thank you so much, friends, for joining us. Welcome to season 11 of Christmas Creeps. Buckle up, buckaroos.
Good Lord. All right.
I can't promise what's coming up next, but rest assured it'll be a fun time. So any other final parting thoughts before we leave?
Nope. Good night, everybody.
All right. For Christmas Creeps, I'm Joseph Wade. Creep it real, y'all. We'll see you soon. Good night.
Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas.